Hey everyone, this is Chesh from Cheshire Plays Games, and Urza Bearwalker on Twitter challenged me to a $300 deck thing. It's a budget deck tech with Akiri and Ludovic. So, Akiri says, "Hi, I like artifacts, they make me swole. First strike and vigilance. I'm a 0-3, so I'm kinda useless without my artifacts. But hey, I've got partner. I get +1/+0 for each artifact I control. So obviously we're playing an artifacts deck." Ludovic says, well, does it even matter at this point? Are we even playing this? At the beginning of each player's end step, that player may draw a card if a player other than you lost life this turn. So basically just incentivizes other people to kill other people, which is kind of the theme of this deck, because we're not running answers. What, deck tech? Deck list is down below. We're not running answers to other people's problems. We want other people to solve our problems. Why? Well, because we want to cast artifacts with flash. So we've got Wrath to flash stuff out. We've got Leyline of Anticipation to flash stuff out. We've got a Vidalcan Orrery, which is actually like almost $30 now. Thanks, Josh Lee Kwai. And of course, we've got a Shimmermere because our artifacts are shiny and shimmery. We want to play them all with flash. I'm not even kidding. We're going to get out our free flashy artifacts with Helm of Awakening. Sure, it means everyone, but it's still pretty good. Foundry Inspector costs one less for our artifacts. Herald of Kozilek does much the same. Ethereum Sculptor also does the same. Crackland Ironworks technically gives us free artifacts by sacrificing artifacts. You'll see how this is going to work in a minute. We're going to be drawing a whole bunch of cards, aren't we? Hopefully so, because we're using Jora Weatherlight Captain, because whenever we cast a historic spell, in this case an artifact, we get to draw a card. We also play Riddlesmith, because whenever we cast an artifact spell, we get to draw a card and then discard a card. We're drawing all these cards, but what are we going to do with all the stuff that we're actually playing? Well, whenever you cast an on-creature spell, Kaikar will give you a 1/1 white spirit creature with token. With flying, sacrifice a spirit to add 1 red. We've got Psymaster Thopterus. Whenever we cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature. With flying, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. We can sacrifice spirits to actually generate red mana. That's pretty cool. We've got Anointed Procession because we want extra tokens when we create our tokens of our tokens of our tokens. Every time we play one of those artifacts, we've got Aetherflux Reservoir, because why not? And it's foily and shiny, but that doesn't count towards the cost because we're talking about the non-foil version. Great! So we need some combos in here just in case. So we've got Scrap Trawler. So whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to your hand. Target artifact card in your graveyard with a lesser converted mana cost. So this is going to die and give you a 2 will give you a 1 will give you a 0, we run all those things. Mirror Retriever doesn't care what it gets back, the same with Junk Diver. It just says I want to get stuff back. So that's an infinite combo you can run in this $300 deck. And then you have all of these stupid artifacts that do stuff that no one cares about because they're just artifacts. Because we're just playing them so we can draw and discard, and draw, and punish, and draw. And I can keep going, because there's a lot of artifacts. Holy bejesus, there's a lot of artifacts in this deck. I'm fumbling, there's so many artifacts. Oh my goodness. With as many artifacts as you can get into play as possible, you can probably just beat your opponent down with Akiri. But wait, we need different ways to win. Mechanized production. So at the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to create a token that's a copy of the enchanted artifact. Then if we control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, we win the game. Not enough? Approach of the Second Sun, because we want to win the game. Still not enough? Mirrodin Besieged. Yeah, I decided that we wanted stuff to win more games, I guess. Hellkite Turret, because if you're not already acquainted with it, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. We're drawing a whole heap of cards, so of course Psychic Corrosion, or as I like to call it, Trent Reznor, is definitely going to mill everyone. Sphinx's Tutelage, because again, drawing cards making people mill out. We've got Psychosis Crawler, because whenever we draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life, which is great. We can get stuff back and replay it using Rebuild, because we can return all of our artifacts to our hand. If we want to, we can even Storm Off and Grave Shot somebody. If we want heaps of mana, we can Brass's Bounty to take somebody out with our commander. And don't forget that you also play a copy of Storm the Vault, because when it transforms after you have... What was this again? At the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, which is very easy in this deck, we will be able to add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool, or tap to add blue to our mana pool for each artifact we control. That's it. That's the deck tech. It's a heap of fun. It's all about Artifact Storm. What? For $300? You got it. I'm Chesh. Hit that like button. I don't care.